Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So welcome to another market open. It's Monday. Are we going to see good things for Bitcoin? Well, considering that last week we had the second highest weekly close ever and supply shock still happening and ETF still buying, I say a massive Bitcoin breakout is incoming. So let's talk about all these things and what more to expect this week. Yeah, let's do it. Welcome, guys. Good morning, good evening, wherever you may be. Bitcoin right now starting the week around 62, no, not $62, 69,200. So a little bit weaker than last week. Of course, we had a lot of buildup last week, trying to build around 71,000, and we were going to push into new high territory, but we fell back a little bit. It's okay. We will see that shortly, because just pay attention to what's going on and you'll know that, hey, this on a grand scheme of things means nothing, especially when you zoom out, and I'll show you more of that in a little bit. What is going on this week? Well, a couple things. U.S. market is starting out a little bit red because people are wondering what is going to happen. We have a couple things people are looking forward to. First of all, we got Powell and FOMC stuff happening this week. Okay. Actually, I thought the FOMC meeting was going to be next week, but I guess it is this week. So this is going to be absolutely huge. Okay. Wednesday. Is Fed Powell going to, Fed Chair Powell, is Fed Chair Powell going to cut the Fed fund rate for the first time since what, 2020? That's 4 years ago. We've been hearing about this for quite some time. Oops. Sorry, I forgot to change my camera. It's okay. Don't you guys want to see my face the whole stream? All right, so yeah, so is he gonna cut rates this week? Right? We saw ECB, I should say. ECB cut their rate. Bank of Canada cut their rate. Is the U.S. going to follow? If it does, okay, it's just a matter of when. It's not like it's a matter of if. Fed Chair is going to cut eventually. If not this month, maybe next month or a month after that. It's going to come. But if it comes this week, this month, we will see a massive market rally. This is what people are waiting for. In fact, one of the reasons why last week Bitcoin dipped down was because people wanted to see worse job numbers. Think about that. Wall Street specifically got spooked by the jobs numbers last week because the jobs numbers came in hotter than expected, which is good for the economy if you think about it. But people did not like that because then it kind of gives Fed Chair Powell an excuse not to cut rates this quickly, right? So that's the reason why. Again, sometimes it's a bizarro opposite world that we live in. But let's see. Let's see what happens, right? Stranger things have happened before, like the time when he announced that there will be 3 rate cuts coming this year. That came out of nowhere. No one expected him to say that, but he did. And since then, he has not indicated that there will be less rate cuts this year, despite having a couple more FOMC meetings. He's like, still, we're not going to think about raising rates for sure, and we're still on pace, you know? So, hey, maybe he does follow the ECB and Bank of Canada, and we will get our very first cut, and that will be fire, as the kids like to say it. Markets will soar if that happens. So that is what we're waiting for on Wednesday, okay? And of course, there's other things that's going on this week. We have PPI inflation, which actually comes the day afterwards, unfortunately. Jobless claim, consumer sentiment. These are all economic data in the U.S. that Wall Street pays attention to. but the biggest one will obviously come Wednesday. What is this guy going to do? Right. Oh, yeah, and there's a CPI inflation that comes out on Wednesday, too. So that aligns, but unfortunately, PPI inflation comes out a day afterwards. We'll see. We will see. Okay, so obviously that's going to make a big impact this week, right? And, okay, if you're thinking, well, if he doesn't cut rates, what's going to happen? Nothing. Nothing's going to happen if he doesn't cut. I think if you look at the prediction, actually, it's like 90-something% that he's not going to cut. So it would be absolutely surprised if he does, in a good way. But if he doesn't, nothing happens. And we just have to wait till next month. Okay. In the meantime, yeah, we did have $400 million shorts or longs, not shorts. Longs liquidated last week. Okay, one of the reasons why we fell back down to 69,000. Some person, some whale or some market maker decided to liquidate the longs, but we are waiting for the opposite. We want liquidate the shorts, and they are piling up in a big, big way. And I'll get to how big in a second. But man, right now, we got like what, $9 billion worth of shorts that's waiting to be liquidated. I just can't believe that the shorters, the bears, actually have so much. I mean, I don't see how they have so much courage to be shorting Bitcoin, especially where we are now. You know, even though we fell down a little bit, we're still about 69,000, guys. So again, I don't know how the shorts or the bears or whoever, market makers, I don't know how they could be piling on the shorts right now. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Especially if you look at everything that's going on. Like, for example, last week, even though we had, you could say, a slight down week, a little bit, just because of the last few days. But look at the inflow for ETF. I mean, the Bitcoin inflow into the ETFs, right? You look at just last week alone was almost as much as the entire month of May. Take a second to think about that. Just 1 week in June, the first week of June, took in almost as much as the entire month of May. Yeah, that's a lot. And we're starting in a week. Right? This month could absolutely be enormous in terms of ETF inflow, considering how hot it was just last week, right? So, I mean, come on. How could you be shorting Bitcoin when you know that there's a supply shock happening? The ETFs are buying by the billions per week now. Once again, like, seriously, how could you be negative on Bitcoin? In total, okay, the ETFs in America and around the world, and we have more and more being released like seemingly every week now. Every country seems to be allowing ETFs to come to be, right, and getting improved. We're seeing that like almost every single week or every single month now. But right now, what exists holds over $70 billion of the Bitcoin. And that number keeps on going higher. And these are just ETFs. They don't include just regular holdings. There are a lot of companies that are just buying Bitcoin, implementing Bitcoin strategy, just like Michael Saylor, right? 70 billion though. 70 billion in 3 months. Now, some of these ETFs have been out longer, but majority being held, you know, they came out less than 3 months, right? BlackRock and Fidelity and so forth. I mean, come on. 70 billion in 3 months. That's crazy. That's crazy. And you know what would be crazier is, last week, one of the big things is Roaring Kitty coming back and live streaming. And, GameStop right now, obviously the stock is a lot higher than before. There's a lot of commotion. But just imagine if GameStop implemented a Bitcoin strategy, just like MicroStrategy, right? We have a lot of companies now that are fully embracing in the US and around the world Why not GameStop? Imagine, because we're waiting for Roaring Kitty to do something with crypto, but it seems like he just wants to stay on the sidelines for now. But imagine the company that he's supporting is now involved with Bitcoin. Imagine if CEO of GameStop came out and said, you know what? We're going to take advantage of the situation. We're going to sell, maybe a little bit more shares, right? And we're going to take the billions that we raise and go buy Bitcoin and hold Bitcoin on our balance sheet. Imagine if you had that scenario happen. It would pump GameStop like crazy, and then Roaring Kitty would be behind. Now he would be inadvertently supporting Bitcoin. Think about that. It's the best of both scenarios if you think about it. We'll see. Maybe GameStop has the foresight to do that. I mean, others on Wall Street are doing that, and it's working for them. Why shouldn't they do it? They should be embracing Bitcoin. Man, that would be wild. That would be wild if that happened this week. Or sometime soon. All right. Now, as for Bitcoin's movement, okay, looking at charts, last week was the second highest weekly close. So I put that in a thumbnail. That's pretty significant. People didn't realize that the week before was actually the highest weekly close. No, I mean, not the week before. Last week was the second highest. The highest was before that was sometime like a few months ago. But regardless, my point is we are sitting pretty. People only look at 73,000 and look at how we're like 4,000 points away. But even if you look at that, it's like less than 5%. On average, okay, if you're looking at the moving averages or the weekly or the monthly, whatever you're looking at, Bitcoin continues to go higher and form higher highs, okay? We are consolidating now here, and everything is catching up, and we're not going to be sitting here much longer. I've been saying that for a while, because you just look at everything that's happening right now, and you look at the fundamentals, I mean, they are strong as ever, and you could argue that it's the strongest in history. You look at Bitcoin balances, for example, still tanking, going down to pre-2017, 2016 levels now. And back then, we didn't have a lot of crypto people. Miner reserves are down. Wallet addresses are still up. You got all this massive FOMO into ETFs and companies that will be embracing Bitcoin and so forth. I mean, the fundamentals of Bitcoin really is strong as ever, and arguably the strongest it's ever been, right? And if you look at the charts, hey, yeah, we had about 3 months of sideways movement, but when it's over, just like all the previous times, when it's over, we will not be going sideways. We will be seeing that next leg up. And that next leg up, again, everyone's trying to predict where it is, okay? Could be mid-80s, like 85, 86, or maybe we blow through that and go right to the 90s, right around 95,000. I mean, there's just nothing above 73,000. So people are just guessing. But above 73,000, we got nothing holding Bitcoin back. Here's another one that shows that Bitcoin should be heading to 94,000 right after we stop going sideways and we break out to the next level. And Bitcoin wants to. We're holding so well at our current level now. And with the ETFs increasing their inflows, I mean, it's just a matter of time. We break out and we will be in the 80s and 90s. And people forget about how we stayed in the 70s for 3 months, even though that's not a bad place to be at all, right? And remember, I started a show talking about all these shorts and how these bears are piling on the shorts. There's now $12 billion. Last week was $9 billion. Now, $12 billion worth of shorts leading up to 74,000. So imagine we get a push, we break through above 73, we head to 74, you get a short squeeze, $12 billion worth of a short squeeze, then of course we're going to be in the 80s and 90s. That is an enormous amount of money waiting to come into the space, right? Waiting to come into Bitcoin. So I'm looking forward to it. It's just a matter of time. It's going to happen. And the last thing I'll say about Bitcoin is this. I mean, 80, 90, what about afterwards? 111,000? Sure, right? There are a lot of predictions of where Bitcoin will be by the end of the year, but more importantly, where it will be by the end of 2025. And we could just all speculate at this point, right? But a lot of charts do show that Bitcoin will be much higher. 6 figures by the end of the year, 250, 500,000 by the end of 2025. It seems far-fetched now, but once we break above 100,000, I don't think it becomes so far. I don't think it'll be so far-fetched to talk about 200, 300, 500,000 by the end of 2025 once we end the year above 6 figures. We'll see. All right, what else is there? Besides Bitcoin and the massive inflows, Ethereum had pretty massive inflow too. Best week since March with $69 million, okay, being bought by the big institutions. So CoinShare measures how much is being bought by the big boys. Of course, it's not as comprehensive as the ETFs. I mean, this is just measuring who they're measuring, who they have a close relationship with. But regardless, a massive amount of Ethereum is being bought right now. Last week alone, 69 million. So that means institutions are loading up ahead of the release of spot Ethereum ETFs, which we know are coming. The SEC already approved them, so it's just a matter of time to get released. Who knows? That may be coming this month, right? And again, if that happens, that could be a big catalyst for the entire market too. Probably, okay, unless Wall Street really doesn't have an appetite for Ethereum ETFs. But then, you know, they wouldn't be pushing for it if that was the case. So we will probably get them sooner or later, maybe the end of this month, maybe next month. They will be coming, and we will get billions being put into Ethereum as well. That'll be good. That'll be good. And also look at this. On Thursday, largest ETH holders recorded a net inflow of 267,000 ETH. Interesting. Yeah, definitely a lot of buying going on right now. Okay, but what about what's next? Can we get a Solana ETF after that? I'm certainly hoping so. After Bitcoin ETF, after Ethereum ETF, what's next? Solana ETF? There are rumors that BlackRock and others are preparing for this. I can't wait when they actually officially file their application. But in the meantime, we do have a major upgrade that's coming to Solana that hopefully makes it even better, enhances stability to a point where we have no more network outages ever again. We'll see. All right. That is pretty much it. Let's do some Q&A. Dana asks, if Bitcoin hits 85K, do alts do 10x from now? No, it won't. Bitcoin has to do well above 6 figures for alts to do a 10x. Steven Nelson, XRP ETF. You know, they can release XRP ETFs, but the problem is no one wants that. No one on Wall Street wants that. They'd rather buy Ripple shares, because Ripple already announced they will do IPO soon. So I don't think we're going to see XRP ETFs. Ray asked, is Cox still good play? Yes. They have a very strong community. So as long as you have a very strong community, that's all you really need when it comes to a meme. Just that community. The community alone will hold it up and push it forward. Crypto COD, I think that's how you say your name. Just moved all my Bitcoin to cold wallet. Price right now is irrelevant. I mean, it really is. The choppiness, the sideways movement, you know, it's best to ignore it. Who cares? Because when in doubt, you zoom out and then you look at everything I've been saying about the growing fundamentals. You know, it's just a matter of time. We go higher, make a new leg up, and then we continue to cycle, right? It just, that's how it always is. We have seen many, 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 many periods of consolidation before, and even periods of downtrends. And Bitcoin always moves forward. It's just that simple. I wonder today, it's pretty even, but let's see. Dow is turning green. What is GME doing today? GME is still down. I mean, Roaring Kitty's call option is at 21, so it's still higher, but he doesn't have a lot of time to close it or to settle it. I mean, he could convert it to shares if he wants to. I don't know if he has enough money to do that. Yeah, we'll see. Last week was wild for GameStop. Look at that. It went up all the way to like 40, 47. And then in the aftermarket, I remember seeing it go to 60s. That's nuts. Man, I wish GameStop would embrace the Bitcoin strategy. What else? Nvidia's not having a good day. Microsoft is having a good day. What's coin? Coinbase is having a good day. That's good. Andrew said you should watch David Goggins if you want workout inspiration. No, that guy is too hardcore, man. That watching a guy like that is actually demotivational. I'm gonna be completely honest. It's like, you know, you need to work up levels, right? And if you look at someone extreme, you know, and you know, that's not motivation. That's too much. But I know who he is, and he is very inspirational for people that are trying to, you know, push past their limits, and he's famous and known for that. And he's like hardcore, very, very hardcore. Rajan or Rajan says too much liquidation for short to 72K, so they're suppressing and defending it hard. That's why I can't. I don't know how this number keeps going up. It was 9 billion last week. Now it's 12 billion. The bears are putting up a stand right around the previous high, around 73,000. They do not want Bitcoin to go higher. I don't know why. I don't know who's doing this. Who wants to keep Bitcoin low? Maybe they just want to make sure that they can accumulate more. right? And we may be seeing this sideways movement for a bit longer, or maybe a few months longer, but we will break through that, and those shorts will get liquidated and wrecked, and it's going to be glorious. He needs 2.4 million to exercise all his call options. Are you sure? That sounds low. Because it's like he has the option to buy. It was worth like 200 million. So it seems like, I don't know. 2.4 million is just what he needs to pay to be able to exercise, and then he needs to have that 200 million to be able to buy the shares, right? That's how it should work. You know, I don't know. I gotta look more into it, because he had a lot of money on the side too. He showed he had like 29 million or something in cash. Skipping Stone says the most important part is to remember never more than 21 million. Yes, ultimately that's why the price goes up for Bitcoin. More demand and less supply. Yeah, G7, 240 million. 240 million makes more sense. I'm no options expert, but I'm pretty sure when you place a long option, when you play a long call, you're basically you're basically exercise. let me redo that. Basically, you're promising to buy the shares at a set price if the price of the shares goes up to a certain level. When you buy a put, it's the opposite. You're looking to buy at a lower level. So whatever he set it at, he's going to be buying at $21 times however many options he has, right? And he would still come out on top. Why someone would buy that is because if it's worth more than $21, let's say it's worth $23, the instant he buys those shares, he'd be making $2 per share, right? That's the reason why people actually exercise on call options. But on the expiration day, if GME was, say, at $19, he would be a fool to exercise because he would be instantly losing $2 per share. But sometimes people still do that because if you don't, you just lost all the premiums you paid, right? And he paid probably a ton on the premiums, tens of millions of dollars. And you know, sometimes it's better to exercise at a loss and still keep the shares versus just losing all the premiums you have paid, right? So that's how long options work. So okay, I think I got it now. I haven't thought about it for a while. Papa Bear Studios, help me understand. Won't a successful ETH ETF increase the cost of using the ETH chain? No, not really. The cost of gas goes up based on volume. If people are just buying, let's say one-time purchases of ETF, for the ETF, one-time purchase of ETH for the ETFs, that's not going to cause the price of gas to go up. It's only when there are a lot of trading happening, okay, or constant buying and selling of ETH, then the gas price goes up. Just because large amount is being held, let's say in a cold wallet, doesn't make the gas fee go up. Unless, I don't know, unless the price goes astronomical. If ETH now is like 30,000 or like 300,000 in the future, then even a small gas fee will be pretty high. If that's what you're thinking, sure. But like mostly it's based on volume. Today, BNB took a big dip. 5%. They were up huge. Polkadot down 10%. Wow. Chainlink down almost 10%. Some of these alts took a beating. James, yeah. The reason why he can actually make money is based on the premiums. Basically, you can sell your option calls to someone else, right? Because they want to take advantage and possibly be able to buy the shares at a discount and make money. That's how call options work. So technically, he could still sell for a profit. The problem is with options, there's a time expiration. So if the time gets too close, no one wants to buy the contract from you, right? So then your premium drops and it could drop to zero. So he has a very limited amount of time. I don't remember when it expires for him. It's sometime this month. I think it's the 21st. I don't know if it's 21st or something, but he can't wait too long. If he wants to cash out, he could either sell the contract to someone else and just make the money on a premium, which is still a lot, hundreds of millions, or he has to exercise it and convert it to shares, which he doesn't seem to have enough money to do so. So I don't know what's going to happen. Unless he sells his GameStop shares that he also holds and uses that money to buy the shares that he needs. I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. I think most likely he's going to just let it expire. Well, hopefully he live streams more and talks about this. Because, you know, that's what people were waiting for. On Friday or Thursday, whenever he streamed, people are waiting to hear, like, what he's going to do, right? Because people want to see if he's going to continue to support GME, and people just want to know what he's going to do, right? And he didn't share any of that. He shared screenshots of what he had, but that's about it. But, you know, if GameStop itself starts embracing Bitcoin, that would be absolutely huge. Any insight into Jitto? Well, Jitto is now integrated into Phantom, which is good. But it's liquid staking. It's liquid staking for Solana. And you know what? Why not? If you're a DeFi guy, you want to earn extra yield, that's what Jitto is really for. So, but they have done very well. Jitto and Jupiter, I mean, man, they did an airdrop thing perfectly, you know. They didn't have a token at first. They made people use the platforms, and then they airdropped, and those airdrops are worth a ton. They did it right. And Jupiter still has more airdrops to go. I don't think Jitto has any more airdrops, but Jupiter does. NMCT, wasn't Roaring Kitty exercising those options, forcing the sellers of those options to sell their shares? They may or may not, causing a short squeeze. Okay, those hedge funds. So hedge funds, well, it depends on how the hedge funds are playing the options. I don't even know if they're playing options, or they probably are, but basically, I don't know how you look at the shorts again. Like what the short, I think Yahoo Finance or someone has like, There was somewhere that actually showed like the short percentage of a stock. I don't see it anymore. Yeah, anyways, the only way to cause a short squeeze is really to drive the price higher. Even if he converted his options and bought more stock, if that doesn't drive the price higher, let's say there's the equivalent amount of people selling at the same time, then it doesn't cause a short squeeze. Like, he really needs to, the price of GME needs to skyrocket to really hurt those guys. Falcon X. $10 million, very small market cap. Came out sometime in May on Solana, and the website doesn't work. Well, that's not good. So, you say it looks promising. I can't tell because the website's down. Most people are bearish, according to Lotto, because their overall portfolio is full of alts. And I still have faith in altcoin season. I'm down 50% of my portfolio, but still overall up. That's true. And I even said that yesterday in my Sunday walk video. I mean, it's not altcoin season right now. We had a little altcoin season back in March, but since then, alts have been losing strength against Bitcoin, which is why I've always advised people to stick with the 50-25-25 rule. You don't want to go too heavy into alts. If you're, a lot of people never listen to that, and they're like 100% alts. And if you're 100% alts, you've been feeling the pressure. Your portfolio probably is down. But my DCA portfolio that I've been showing you guys, you know, that does have like 50% in Bitcoin, and that is high. It's like last week it was like 88% in the green. And this week, we'll see. It could be a little bit lower, but still overall, if you've been DCAing long term and you have at least 50% of your portfolio in Bitcoin, there's no way you're in loss right now or in red. I noticed GME meme coin actually dumped this time. Actually, it didn't dump. It actually held better than I expected because GME meme was still at like, no, this is not the right one. This one, yeah. It's still at 126 million. This is holding really well. Right, look at it. It fell back down to here when it seemed like, you know, it was dead. And then Roaring Kitty came back, and then it pumped up to these levels. And then during his stream, or before his stream, it went up to crazy levels. But even now, look at it. It's gaining strength. So, I made a little money. I FOMO'd, I'll be honest. I FOMO'd a little bit here. And I sold on the way down. But, you know, now it's even higher. So, this GME meme is actually pretty strong. But it's 127 million already. So it's not like you're going to make 100x from this. But people that, you know, bought it down here, I don't know what the percentage gain is, but that's quite a lot. At least a 3x. Yeah, Celtics, man. There's no point of watching the Celtics versus Mavs. Celtics is just too loaded, and you know I've said that before. I don't know like how the NBA let the Celtics get so loaded. All these teams that traded all these like trade away all their great stars to like the Celtics for nothing. They will sweep the Mavs 4-0 or maybe 5-1, but it's not even a series. They are just too loaded. All Are Austin and Aaron robotic in real life too? I have a lot more interaction with Austin and Aaron, but they're not robotic in real life. Um, I don't know how you describe them. They're kind a little bit closed, I guess. They don't often share very much and not very open, but Aaron definitely is the more outgoing of the two. Drew, first time hearing about the Fetch merge. Yeah, it's going to happen soon. But I've been talking about it for months now. So the conversion is going to happen. It's a one-to-one conversion from Fetch to ASI. And then you're asking, what would you do if you had a solid FET position? Just hold it. Hold it for the conversion. That's all you need to do. Dreamland Music. I have nearly 10K in Injective. Do you think it's a good buy at current levels? Well, it's not a good buy. Let's just leave it like that. I mean, they've been pretty stagnant since March, right? Will they pick up that momentum once again? Yeah, I think so. Look at it. They're still way higher. Way higher than all of 2023. March they peaked out over here about 51. They're down from it, but still, they're in a pretty good spot, I would say. They actually look like they bottomed out right around here earlier in May, right around 20, and now they're building a footing from there. Actually, from a chart perspective, that doesn't look too bad. Can Fed do a 10x after the merge? Eventually, but not right away, no. What's your prediction on XRP if they win the lawsuit? I don't know. They'll go up. They'll go up. I don't know how much, but they will go up. The kid comes, says, I think Austin and Aaron are actors, so they're very practiced in all voice inflection and actions. Hard to read. No, they're very. It's not that. It's not the way their voice is. I don't know. It just seems like they're more. I don't know. I don't know how to really describe them, but Aaron's personality is very different than Austin. Aaron is more like an extrovert, and Austin's more of an introvert. They are very different, and but they're closed. They're closed and not an open book, and that's not a bad thing. But you know, there's influencers I've met that's like completely open book. They will just share everything. It's, you know, it just seems like an easier conversation to have with them. Austin and Aaron, try to get close with them. I'm somewhat close. You know, we're doing stuff together. The round table, not Mario's thing, but there's another round table. We're partners in that. And we meet often at the Crowded Combat stuff. So it's not like we're not close, but like co-worker close, right? Kind of like that. CW Tucker Carlson dipping down. A good scoop before presidential debates or overhyped. Overhyped. And I don't get into political stuff, but I think that is way overhyped. Should I still DCA on Arrow? Well, if you know I'm not big on it, why would I tell you to continue to DCA on it? Because it's not something that I hold, so I can't say that. And do you give course on learning crypto? I do. If you look at it, I have some classes you could take. It's in the description. The biggest problem XRP has is anyone that's been in crypto for 1 year plus hates it because it's never moved, and you need retail to push it up. Who now is going to be bullish on XRP? I mean, you could argue even anyone that's been in crypto for 1+ year, and people that's been holding it since 2018 hates it even more, obviously. But you know, you gotta. I said this. You gotta give Ripple their credit. They defeated SEC. You know, that was a big thing because now, just because they basically proven that just because something had an ICO does not make it a security automatically. That's a big win. So now a lot of these other projects, they could still they still probably have to pay a fine for the legal token offering for the ICO. Or a legal token sale, I should say. But that does not make the token or the coin itself a security. And that's one of the things they won. And that's huge. That's absolutely huge. So you got to give them credit for that. Their business model allowed them to have hundreds of millions of dollars to be able to fight the SEC. And very little projects have that kind of cash, right? But as for XRP itself as a coin, I just see it getting weaker because Ripple's doing an IPO and they're coming out the stable coin. I just don't see much use case for XRP. Tiffany asked, do you think true altcoin season will start in 2025 or will be contingent on the next rate decrease or Bitcoin high? I think true altcoin season, if you look at previous cycle, true altcoin season always happens at the tail end of every cycle. So true altcoin season will probably happen sometime in 2025 when Bitcoin tops out. Now, when will Bitcoin top out? Mid-year? End of year? I still think it could be end of the year, but it could be pushed up a little bit to mid-year because we are moving a little bit quicker in this cycle than previous cycles. So, but when we're getting close to that peak, that's when true altcoin season hits and everything goes up 10x, 50x, 100x. It happens every single time. But in the meantime, as Bitcoin makes higher highs, you're going to see the crypto, I mean, the entire crypto space go up, and alts have these mini altcoin seasons. That'll certainly happen still. All right, guys. To conclude, there are still a lot of great things happening in the space. I, like so many others, are just waiting. That's all you have to do. That's all you can do, right? When we're consolidating, we're going sideways, it's got to be patient. We know the next leg is coming. This breakout is incoming. We know it's bound to happen, right? So stay strong, my friends. I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and let's see if anything else changed by then. All right, have a good one, guys. Take care. Since we had so many people bring up XRP, I feel compelled to show this educational clip before I go. So enjoy it.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.